Hello, so
Look at this dude.
I'm Owen, as most of you know, because I'm posting this mostly for friends of mine that want to know what I did here. If you see any mess around me, I apologize. We don't really eat at our dining room table here. We kind of just use it as a place to put stuff, or in my case, a workstation. Excuse all that. Anyway, introduce myself because I'll probably post this on YouTube. Just, other people out there in the world can get an idea of how to do this at home for themselves instead of paying people hundreds of dollars to get this sorted out. With mods, for the guitar itself, I probably spent about, $500, $510. The guitar itself is, I think, about $220 on Guitar Center right now. I think you can get it cheaper than that. Total, about $720, $730. A little pricey. I did spend more on mods than I did on the guitar itself, but I think it was worth it because I think it sounds like a guitar that's at least $1,200 now. Yeah, with all that said, let's get into showing all the stuff that I did.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, so here's just a quick overview of the face of the guitar. These are the pickups that I installed. Here are the Hipshot bridge saddles I got. I only got saddles because I would have to do some extraneous routing for a new bridge. And these are what the knobs and the switch look like. Here is the Graphtech nut I installed. It's a lot more resonant than the stock plastic nut. And these are the Gotoh locking tuners I got. They make for fast and easy string changes. There are a few tools you'll need for the new electronics if you don't have them already, starting with a soldering iron and solder wire. Then you'll need some wire strippers for removing the insulation off any wires you plan to use. You could also opt for some cable jacket strippers. These basically do the same thing but with one squeeze. These strippers that I have here are rated for 22 gauge wire, but I didn't find them all that helpful. You will also need some wire cutters for cutting wires to the length that you want. And finally, some box cutters. These are useful for the removal of a guitar nut, but can also be useful if your wire strippers don't want to work how they're supposed to. That's about all the basic tools you'll need. Next, let's look at the control cavity. Here's the control cavity. You can see the volume pot, the tone pot with the capacitor on it, it's that little orange thing, and the three-way switch. I've also lined the cavity with copper foil to help eliminate any electromagnetic interference, as well as the plate that covers the electronics. The foil, as well as everything else, is grounded to the back of my volume pot. I also covered the pickup cavities with foil, and I've connected all of the foil pieces together using some wire by soldering it to the foil, which you can see right about here. That little tab of foil is there to ensure that the plate cover connects to the foil in the cavities. And here's the pure tone output jack that I got as well. So here's the CTS 500K push-pull pot I got. What this does is it essentially gives me single coil tones with humbuckers by splitting the coils, which I'll go over later in this video. All I have to do is pull up on the tone knob and that splits the coils and the humbuckers for me. It also works like a regular tone knob. It's kind of fun to fidget with too. This is an Oak Grigsby three-way switch. Nothing special, it just works like a regular three-way switch. And this is a CTS 500K pot. This just works as a standard volume knob and doesn't move up or down like the other pot. Next, let's talk about the pickups. So I decided to get Seymour, Duncan, Pegasus, and Sentient passive pickups. These are the active mount versions since my guitar is routed for active pickups. Here's where I'm going to go over how coil splitting works. A humbucker, basically, but not accurately, is 2 single coil pickups put together. So down one side is a coil, and on the other side, there is another coil. So a humbucker isn't actually 2 single coil pickups put together. A traditional single coil has 6 cylindrical magnets that are wrapped in wire, and that produces a specific magnetic field which produces a specific sound. A humbucker is 2 coils of wire that wrap around 6, or in my case, 7 screws or slugs each, and they straddle a bot magnet. Coil splitting works by effectively removing one of those coils by grounding it, so if I pull up on this knob here, it grounds one of these coils. However, there is still a massive magnet underneath these coils, so I can get single coil-like sounds, but it doesn't perfectly replicate it. Next, let's go over the nut. Yeah. I didn't really know what else to call this, so... Man, it's called the nut! Get your mind out of...
Disgusting shit.
Alright, so with that out of the way, this is the nut that I got just because it's simply better. It is way more resonant than a plastic nut. You will need some wood glue for the new nut, but to remove the old nut, just get some box cutters and kind of score the edges to make it pop out easier. And then you can just whack it out of there. So just as a bonus, I thought I'd go over this portable soldering iron kit that I've made. It's basically a battery-powered soldering iron. I've rigged up the cable to this battery, just because the cable kind of wiggled when it was plugged in before. You can also switch out these TS100 tips pretty easily. What's cool about this iron is that you can set the iron to heat up to a chosen temperature automatically. Whoever used this iron tip last didn't clean it off really well, as you can see, so make sure you get some brass wool for that too. This kit has been crucial for my production work and has saved me numerous times. Okay, so that's about it. Like I said, mods were about $500. The guitar itself was about $220, so $720 total. I hope this video has been informative and that you're all kind of comfortable doing this yourself now. If you got any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will try and answer those for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. And that's about it. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching. Okay, that's all I needed.